together with that of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, speaking of the findings of the CAG report, Girish Chandra Murmu, who is the CAG, in fact, he is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, as we all know, highlighted these areas in which the AAP government failed to achieve its stated purposes. These failed objectives include generating optimum revenue for government, eradicating sale of spurious liquor, simplifying excise regime, counter-formation of cartels, simplifying duty and pricing policy, and adequate spread of retail vets. It should be kept in mind that corruption and money laundering cases related to the now withdrawn excise policy have already seen Kejriwal and his cabinet colleagues Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain spend months behind bars before getting bail from court. Moreover, Delhi's liquor gate was a key issue in the just concluded assembly elections. Remember, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised to expose the corrupt by announcing, "Jinhone loota hai, unhe lautana padega." So will the looters pay back? That's a question we'll be deep diving today. The CAG report on the liquor scam was tabled in the Delhi Assembly today, shedding light on the significant financial mismanagement linked to the AAP government excise policy. Let's also take you through the key details accessed by CNN News 18. The first finding, of course, that mentions is that the report reveals a huge revenue loss worth over 2,000 crore rupees being lost due to delays in obtaining necessary permissions for the opening of liquor vents, particularly in non-conforming wards. The CAG found violations of licensing procedures. No proper screening of applicants was conducted. The third finding is that the report points out the wholesaler margin was significantly increased, leading to higher prices for consumers and a lack of regulation over the distribution system. The fourth finding, and a very crucial one at the same time, the CAG notes that the Delhi government ignored expert recommendations regarding the formulation and implementation of the policy. The report also highlights a lack of transparency in the policy's execution, along with weak checks and balances. The sixth and equally important is that the CAG found that the policy inadvertently enables monopolies in the liquor distribution market and promotes brand pushing, with certain companies gaining disproportionate influence in the market, of course, meaning that that is cartelization as well. The report also flags off the illegal opening of liquor vents, with several outlets opening without proper approval or adherence to the prescribed regulations. The eighth finding, the pricing mechanism for liquor under the policy lacked transparency. It made it difficult for consumers to understand price variations. The ninth finding is that the CAG points out to violations of testing rules, specifically regarding the safety and quality. And the 10th, the report emphasizes that there was weak enforcement against illegal liquor trade, with the policy failing to curb black market activities effectively. The CAG report has revealed significant financial losses that were also linked to Delhi's excise policy, shedding light on mismanagement and procedural failures. Let's also break down the numbers for you. The total loss due to the policy's flawed implementation on amounts to, in fact, it goes over 2,000 crore rupees. A large chunk of the revenue loss is 941 crore rupees, which results from delays in the opening of liquor shops, particularly in areas where permissions were not granted in time, hampering the policy's overall execution. Another is 890 crore rupees, which was lost due to the failure to follow proper tendering processes for retail licenses. The report also highlights 144 crore rupees, which were lost because the government's decision to waive licensing fee for the vendors. The findings of the CAG report on Liquorgate have sparked a heated debate already between the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and the Aam Aadmi Party. The BJP has seized upon the CAG report, accusing the AAP government of widespread corruption and financial mismanagement. In defense, the Aam Aadmi Party has argued that the AAP government has been at the forefront of exposing corruption in Delhi, and the CAG report actually validates our stand. Sharpening the attack, the BJP has called the CAG report as a list of black deeds by the AAPDA. In response, AAP refutes BJP's allegations. It's defending the excise policy, stating that the liquor smuggling from Haryana and Uttar Pradesh was a significant issue under the old policy. The AAP argues that the new excise policy was intended to address this smuggling issue, curbing the illegal liquor trade that had flourished in the previous regime. The BJP, of course, continues to accuse the AAP government of looting the people of Delhi, citing the CAG report as evidence of corruption. In defense, AAP rejects the BJP's accusations. It's asserting that the old excise policy was itself flawed, with inflated liquor prices hurting consumers and contributing to the issues at hand. The BJP further accuses the AAP government of misusing Delhi's budget to further their own political agenda. In response, AAP has defended its position by asserting that the previous excise policy encouraged corruption. And so when it comes to the CAG report, fireworks in the Delhi Assembly, is the CAG report now equivalent to AAPDA for AAP? Is it going to mean more trouble for the Aam Aadmi Party? That's a question we'll be posing to our guests in just a bit.
आपकी अनुमति से दिल्ली में शराब के विनियम वर्ष 2024 का प्रतिवेदन संख्या नंबर 1 की प्रतियां सदन पटल पर प्रस्तुत करती हूं।
बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर जी की फ़ोटो, शहीद आजम की फ़ोटो, इन सब का मुद्दा बिल्कुल गलत बना रहे थे। ये बात उनको अच्छे से पता थी कि सीएजी की रिपोर्ट आ रही है और उसमें बहुत बड़ा भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है।
आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार ने लगातार बार-बार ओल्ड एक्साइज पॉलिसी में हो रहे भ्रष्टाचार को दिल्ली वालों के सामने रखा।
Introducing my esteemed panelists today, I'm joined by Shivam Chhabra, who's a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Naveen Dubey, who's a political analyst, also supports the Aam Aadmi Party, Sumit Nagpal, an advocate, and Nikul Patel, who's a political analyst. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. Naveen, I want to begin by asking you what explains Atishi's comment when she says that it was a right decision to have scrapped the old liquor policy, something that's been reiterated in the CAG report.
Definitely. Earlier, it was seen and observed by the Delhi government, the Arvind Kejriwal-led government, that there's a lot of liquor being smuggled from the Haryana and Uttar Pradesh and the other states of the country. Ultimately, they seen the policies in Haryana. Earlier in 2022, the duty on imported liquor was 10% in Haryana, but it was reduced to 3% on imported liquor. And presently, imported liquor are cheapest in Haryana, except rest of India, number one. Number two, even if you go through the newspapers and the reports of the smuggling of the liquors throughout the country, either in Bihar or any other state, it will be found produced in Haryana only. So what is the policies of excise policies in Haryana? And if we go through the excise policy of the Delhi government and right now this is expected figure, approximate figure being introduced by the CAG, that this is the approximate loss may occur or occurred or took place just because of this policy. But
so, Naveen Dubey, what you're saying, that does that justify them concentrating the licensing in the hands of a few vendors, only 14 of them, whether it was to do with international makes or even the Indian makes of liquor. Isn't that amounting to cartelization as well?
Akanksha, it's a matter of inquiry when the competent
The
department
inquiry is
will
already
enter
being
and inquire.
conducted by the CAG.
No,
The
no, no.
CAG
Audit
has
report
already
is
flagged off. I want to
CAG
quickly bring in
report-
Shivam Chhabra on that note.
report is
Right,
just an
you've
audit
made your
report,
point
but
that you
not the
had to.
inquiry actually.
Let me also bring in the other panelists. Shivam Chhabra, is this not cartelization in the garb of cracking down on smuggling? Let me give you the figures. In the year 2021 to 22, they were granted, only 14 business entities were granted these licenses. And if I were to quote the previous year itself, 77 manufacturers of IMFL and 24 suppliers of FL were allowed to operate. Is this not monopolizing the market? How are you cracking down on
Absolutely,
smuggling?
yes. No, so what Naveen ji is trying to defend is trying to defend the friends of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. You need to realize the fact that this entire policy was brought in to benefit and to probably ensure and amass kickbacks from the friends of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. And that is the gist of this entire report. You know, the Rekas were trying to be given to the companies who were bearing losses. I mean, where does this fit in? You need to answer these basic questions. And if this policy was so good, what made the government revert back on the previous policy? Now, now Atishi Marlena comes up and takes a moral high stand and says, you know, the CAG report is basically based on the findings which were from 2017 to 21. Madam, just to remind you, I have the entire report with me, Akanksha, and the report says, and very categorically, clearly says that after 21, when the new liquor policy came into in action, the same irregularities were basically complied in the new liquor policy one. The benefits, the disbursement of the shares were done on a very arbitrary system. The expert comments was also, I was just listening to your entire report. The experts were also not listened to nicely, and their recommendations were not taken seriously. They were doing absolutely arbitrarily. So the point is,
Let's also bring in Nikul. I think
amass.
right, Nikul will also be able to respond better to this entire discussion, given that attacks are also now being directed by Atishi over to the previous government prior to the Aam Aadmi Party, when she's talking about the liquor policy dating back to 2010. Also brings in to the focus should also be on why was the Aam Aadmi Party not able to bring into effect the clauses of the 2010 laws. But Nikul, I'll let you in fact take that lead.
Yeah, definitely. If you see today, Bharatiya Janata Party, after coming into the power, had come with the CAG report that tabled on the parliament today and letting that know people that what scam has been occurred. And CAG is doing its job very good, accurately, and they know what they are discussing and what they are putting by checking the facts and figures from the government offices. So BJP today wants to just blame Aam Aadmi Party, but they must also be clear that when you are into CAG report so closely following, then you must also follow the CAG report of the health ministry of PM Jai Yojana. So you must also focus on that also. Just blaming other. PM Jai means Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, where multiple health means health is the best policy what BJP is giving right now. The CAG said that there are 7.5 lakh people who are linked with a single number. There are the benefits given to the people who are already dead. We have found one hospital in Gujarat where
Right,
Khyati
Nikul, we are
Hospital.
also talking about the CAG report on
So,
Liquor Gate. I would really appreciate your
nahin,
inputs
nahin,
on
nahin,
whatever
I'm
has been
coming to that
flagged
only.
off by the
I'm
CAG in
coming
the
to
Liquor
that
Gate
only.
report today. But let's
I'm
make
coming
it
to
fast
that.
because it's a brief discussion. So let's not
I'm making to
digress.
that only. The BJP objective is that what Aam Aadmi Party is doing not correct in, and that is identified CAG, and it is good they are bringing it to the notice to the people, and it must be. But that is not the correct way. You must also do the same thing with your governments and your thing. That is what I want to say.
Thank you for setting the tone for the BJP, given that it's just been days since they have taken over. But let me actually bring in Sumit also on that note. Sumit, what explains not seeking the cabinet's approval or the LG's approval? Can the Aam Aadmi Party escape that question?
See, you have to understand one thing, that the government of a state is run as per the constitutional mechanism. And if the mechanism of the constitution provides that you have to seek permission from the LG or the cabinet, then you have to go about it. And if you do not take such permissions, then you cannot defend yourself. And I can tell you that given the fact that CAG has now given its report, the dereliction of duty is there, the I would say deficiencies when it comes to implementation of certain rules, that deficiencies are visible now. The CAG report is there now. Now I would say that the law should take its logical conclusion, and whatever has happened in this case till now, the FIR has been registered. The trial should be completed as soon as possible so that the guilty must be punished. And I can tell you that whatever the spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party was saying when we started the debate, you cannot justify these things saying that in Haryana this is the rule, in other states this is the rule. You cannot justify these things. This doesn't give you a license to have irregularities in your own state, that you will say that in Haryana this particular thing was going on, and that is why we should also be
I think
allowed.
Naveen wants to come on that. Let me
Yes.
let me listen to what he also has to say. I also have a question for you, Naveen Dubey. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Akansha, one thing. If you go through the previous CAG reports, we've seen the 2G spectrum scam, we've seen coal block spectrum scam. Earlier in 2018, this Jan Arogya scheme, lot of corruptions and scams took place earlier in last decade, or you can say 15 years. But what happened? Let me come. Please listen. Please listen. I'm telling you. What happened with the coal block accused? Naveen Jindal, right now he's in Bharatiya Janata Party enjoying his position. What happened with Ajit Pawar? Let me tell my friend whether Ajit Pawar is a corrupt person or Narendra Modi ji was telling a lie in a public meeting. Define. Just clarify here.
So, Naveen Dubey, you're saying two wrongs will make a right?
Why?
Two wrongs will make a right. You tell me something when the expert panel suggestion is that no individual is to be allotted more than 2 liquor vents. No. You answer me. When the expert panel's suggestion and recommendation clearly states that no individual is to own more than 2 liquor vents, why were 54 retail vents in fact allotted to a certain individual? Is this not a glaring mistake or a blunder by the GOM? What is it?
Sir, I got one question. Did Lieutenant Governor sign this report or not? This policy is signed by the governor or not? Of course, you say yes. It was approved and signed by the Lieutenant Governor.
Shivam Chhabra, would you like to respond to
Lieutenant
the
Governor
defense?
also a counterpart in the Delhi government.
Dodging the ball will not serve the purpose. You need to talk sense and bilkul absolute facts while answering the point blank question put to you. I have the summary of the entire CAG report with me.
I just now asked that the cabinet or the LG approval was not even sought.
So again, let me put the facts in place. I'm not trying to, give more of a clarification because clarification does not make sense. The facts are clear in this particular report. The audit has covered a period of 4 years from 2017-18 to 2021. This was the first part, and then 21 to further covered from 1st September 22. The excise policy has been covered in chapter 8 of this report. So whatever Atishi ji is referring to, she needs to be reminded. We have got the summary, we have got the details for all the 8 volumes being put on the table of the Legislative Assembly. Now, so as far as the allegations, as far as she's saying that the previous 17 to 21 does not make sense. Let me remind her she was the minister in the same government where this policy was being enacted on, and I think if I'm not wrong, they were still in power. Arvind Kejriwal was Chief Minister of Delhi. He was Chief Minister of Delhi from 2014 till date. 6 months back he just resigned, but I mean, most of the time he was Chief Minister of Delhi. So what made him realize that this policy, I mean, I'm only talking about the time fact, what made him realize this policy is not good enough, it took almost 5 to 6 years. Is this the reality? Are we trying to fool? I mean, whom are we
All
trying to
right.
fool?
No, but Nikul Patel, I'm
Great
sure
question.
that even the
And I
Congress
think-
has some
I
answering
think-
to
and
do,
I think
because
just
the
to-
Aam Aadmi Party has also been using the previous Congress government as a clutch to justify its own actions. They've also gone on to say,
both
no,
are in
I want to
both are
bring
in
in
hand in
Nikul.
glove.
I want to bring in Nikul also.
Yeah, yeah.
Nikul Patel, they are saying that, the Congress government was not able to crack down on the smuggling. They're also saying that the Congress government was not able to set up laboratories to check the quality of the liquor, which they themselves have not been able to do, as has been already highlighted in the CAG report. Why shouldn't the Congress now step up and, in fact, question the Aam Aadmi Party for its own failures and actually placing the buck onto the previous Congress government?
Yeah, I appreciate your statement that two wrongs cannot be make one correct, right? And that is how I would like to communicate over here today that the people of Delhi have given the verdict, and now Bharatiya Janata Party is into power. They have a due right to bring the faults of the previous government, and we are also there that
No,
whenever
but if,
anything is
if
wrong
there is
happening, and it should be
misinformation
supported.
involved, then perhaps it's your duty as a spokesperson for your honorable party
Now,
to also
now
clear
I
the
would
air.
now our duty. I'm going to tell the same thing. What is our duty? Our duty is also that anything is not happening correct. We should try to bring it to the notice to the people, and that is why I'm telling Bharatiya Janata Party that if you are so concerned about CAG report, then you must be concerned about all the CAG reports happening in the entire country. And you can start with present the health government CAG report regarding Pradhan Mantri Arogya Jan Kalyan Yojana, where it is represented that there are so many fraudulence happening in the entire policy. Why you don't want to come with that? You also
Shivam
come with that.
Chhabra, there are
We
a
are ready
host
for
of Jan
all kind
Kalyan
of things.
Yojanas. I think you should pacify Nikul by responding to that, because I think वो Jan
I am-
Kalyan
I am only-
योजनाओं
I am-
पे ही अटके हुए हैं आज.
What I'm trying to say is, your panel probably projects that Aam Aadmi Party and Congress Party is still on the same plank. So it is the fact of the matter, they're only trying to say their own, say others saying nothing more than that. Only I wanted to read a single line which will clarify the entire doubt anybody has on this panel. So the implementation issues of the new policy led to a loss of revenue of approximately 2002 crores. This is the gist of the CAG report that has been tabled in the Delhi Legislative Assembly today. This is the bottom line. You still have a doubt? You still have a doubt, Mr. Dubey?
नहीं, we
You still
accept
have a
it.
doubt, Mr. Patel?
All right.
You
Sumit,
still
Chhabra ji,
Sumit,
Chhabra ji,
Welcome.
that is the loss. That is the loss.
I want to quickly
It is
give
not
closing
your-
thoughts to Sumit Nagpal. We've had enough of this discussion, but Sumit Nagpal, I want to bring you in on the point. There's no timeline specified in the Indian Constitution with regards to once the CAG report is introduced, when it should be tabled, which is perhaps the reason why the Aam Aadmi Party deliberately delayed tabling it. We've seen a similar instance happen in West Bengal as well, where the Trinamool Congress government delayed tabling the CAG report. What are the lessons learnt now?
See, you have to understand one thing, that Aam Aadmi Party knew it clearly that there are lacunas, there are deficiencies, there are derelictions of duties on their part, and these lacunas, dereliction, or deficiencies on their part can be termed as liquor gate scam. They knew it very well, and that is why they delayed tabling of this CAG report before the House. And now, when this report has come, has been tabled, and I think I was like making this point earlier as well. Now the law should take its own course. We have already have the FIR registered. We have the investigation going on, and the trial in this case should be completed as soon as possible,
All right.
so that one, the guilty can be punished in this case, and a message should go that you cannot tamper with things like this. You cannot run it like a banana republic, that you will not be listening to the lieutenant governor. You will not be placing it before the
Right.
cabinet. So this message has to go very clearly.
I'm sure the message has already arrived loud and clear that the reluctance to engage